This episode is brought to you by Meaghan Najat with Exit Realty Metro.
Meaghan Najat is an experienced real estate agent who prides herself in finding the perfect home for her clients. Meaghan can help you with a comparative market analysis to help determine the value of your home if you're planning on selling, or help you determine the going rate for the neighborhood you're moving into. She can also work with you at your pace.
You can reach Meaghan by calling 902-880-8429 or email camilla@exitmetro.ca.
Also, you can find her on Facebook at Meaghan Najat, Exit Realty Metro.
Cheers! Welcome to the Afternoon Pint. I'm Mike Tobin.
I am Matt Conrad.
And today we have
Meaghan MacDonald.
Meaghan MacDonald. That last name's familiar.
Yeah, sounds very familiar.
Well,
Someone else I might know, but
it's by default one of the most popular names probably in Nova Scotia, like surnames, isn't it?
Yeah.
It has to be
it
up
is.
there.
There's way too many McDonald's.
Yeah, there's a
lot of us.
Yeah.
We're probably all related somehow down the road.
Well, Meaghan, you were related to a previous guest, though, no?
No. Previous guest. No.
Yeah.
Brendan, not Brendan, that Brendan. Brendan MacDonald.
What?
Yes.
6 foot. That's my brother.
We're going to have to cut that.
Yeah, we are going to have to cut
that. Start over.
You thought I was talking about...
I thought you were talking about Brendan
our
McGuire.
guest. No, Brendan MacDonald.
Oh, I'm an idiot.
Yeah, you are.
We can leave this in.
I think we should.
Probably just to really personify how bad I am with remembering names and things. Shouts out to Brendan MacDonald if you're listening.
What's awesome about this is that he doesn't even know this is happening right now.
Well, that'll be funny.
Yes.
And I haven't seen Brendan since like a bachelor party in PEI.
It's been like 10 years
ago or whenever.
Sounds about right.
But I hope he's doing well. Yeah.
I can speak on that. He's doing very well.
He's a very nice guy.
Yeah.
I like
He's a great brother.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
all
doing
right.
fantastic.
Yeah. You stay in touch with him?
Yeah. Oh,
Cool.
yeah. He actually, when we first launched this, he wrote to me. Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah,
and
so he does know that
Matt
we're
stood
doing
in his
this.
wedding.
I stood in his
So
wedding. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I do
cool.
remember that.
Yes.
Well, and actually, I stood at a wedding at the place we're at today, which is the
Halifax Club.
You're the manager
We're
here.
at the Halifax Club.
So we're here with the manager of the Halifax Club.
Yeah, the general manager.
Oh,
The general manager.
Yeah, the top number one.
The numero uno.
Yeah.
Numero uno.
Right. And Matt told me we should come down because you've been doing a lot with this place. This place has a crazy rich history here in Halifax.
Yeah.
When did the Halifax Club start? I know it's on the door.
It's been here since 1862.
1862. Wow.
Yep. So we just turned 162 on January 20th, a few days ago.
That's older than Canada, isn't it?
I
think
think
it is.
It's older than Canada.
Yeah.
If it's not older than Canada, it's like pretty neck and neck.
When did Canada celebrate its 150? Do you remember?
That's the thing. I think it was. This is terrible because it's our
Well,
country and
remember,
everything. But like,
time goes by fast. We went through.
but I'm pretty sure it was like Canada's like 158 years old or 159 years
It's
old.
neck and neck with Canada.
It's neck and neck. Halifax is older than Canada.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
So yeah. But either way, here we are, historic building, historic place. We wanted to be here, obviously, not just because of some of the things that you're doing, but also it's an iconic place, and there's a whole bunch of cool stories behind it. It's also a beautiful place.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess let's get a little bit of the early history. So yeah, we it's 162, and when it first opened, it was like very much like a networking kind of men's club, I believe.
It was purely like a gentleman's club. Obviously, we're very far stepped away from that now,
Obviously.
but it really did function like that up until a few years ago, which is really not that long ago.
Just a few years ago, you say?
Yeah,
Really?
so women couldn't come to the club, I want to say, until 50 or 60 years ago, which in hindsight is like, that's really not a long time that women couldn't come to the space.
Yeah.
And when I say that, I mean, they couldn't even come through the front door of the club. So it very much was like a gentleman's club.
Yeah, weirdly, there was a lot of places like that 50, 60 years ago.
Yeah.
In fairness, too, right?
And some places across Canada still have that, kind of establishment built that, it's just a pure gentleman's club. But yeah, in Halifax, I want to say we were the first private club to open in the city. I think there's only one other one in the city in Halifax to exist. And then across Nova Scotia, it's pretty minimal. But yeah, opened 162 years ago, gentlemen's club, and it really did function like that. throughout most of its.
How did this building survive the Halifax explosion?
Great question.
No, I'm just curious. It would like literally be
sheer
right
will.
This building is sturdy. It's very sturdy. We got very minimal damage from the Halifax explosion.
Okay.
The only damage we got is actually from it's back downstairs on our main floor. We have we have 4 floors to the space, but 2 floors are what's like open to the public. That's like what we get our main use out of is the 2 floors. We're on the 2nd floor now. So back downstairs, we have 2 original windows from when the Halifax Club opened that has our like logo or crest on them.
Okay, cool.
And we got 1 crack through one of those windows, and that was the only damage that we got from the explosion. Oh. No, so we kept the 2 windows kind of as, for historical reasons, and there's a plaque back downstairs by the window to say that was the only damage we received.
Wow,
that's pretty cool.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
So you said these 2 floors, so downstairs, upstairs, where we are right now, the only 2 that are open to the public. So that means you can be a non-member and rent the space. Is that
You
what
can,
mean?
yeah. But the
Was that always the case? It wasn't.
I don't know when they started opening to the public. I wouldn't say it was like, I'd say it was back when women could probably start coming to the space. They kept it as like pure to members as possible, that you had to be a member to sign on. So that was a lot of like political leaders, like people in a certain tax bracket could sign on. But, so a little bit more into the history is that like we have a basement level to the space, and we have access to the underground tunnels of Halifax.
Okay.
So those are all like closed up now, but if you were to go into the tunnels, like you can still walk in a few feet before they're kind of closed up. But
that's pretty cool.
I was gonna say like right after this, I want to go down and see the tunnels. If she didn't say like they're closed up, and I was
they're closed up and not safe.
Okay,
I'd take the risk.
But you can see them. You can go into our basement and see the tunnels, and there's 2 of them.
Well, maybe we want to do that.
Yeah,
because that'd be kind of cool.
Good picture for the.
One of them goes to the bank, like the Nova Scotia bank down the street on Hollis. Second one went all the way to George's Island.
No way.
Now, how come they haven't wrote that heist movie yet? That prestigious members of the Halifax Club in like 1970, they all get upstairs in the cigar room and they rob the bank through the tunnels. They're like, it's the perfect crime.
Well, that was like a big.
Why do they have British accents?
This is one guy. This is one British guy that came over and met them all, and he's the bad. The bad grape of the bunch.
Yeah, he's the leader. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
so that's pretty cool. I heard rumors of like tunnels to George's Island.
Rumors are true.
Wow,
those are true. I've seen it myself.
To George's Island.
Yeah,
that'd be pretty deep.
That was a big like purpose of the space being here, was that it was connected to the tunnels, and that was how they would bring things into the club. They would bring
like
in
during like Prohibition.
Yeah, back in the 1800s, they would bring in, like guns, like money, booze, women through the space. So of course they wouldn't let them come through the front door, but then men would break their own rules and come in through the tunnels.
That's pretty standard.
Now there's a ghost story.
It's like, hey, we're gonna make up rules.
We're not gonna follow them.
That ghost story, I think it revolves around a woman that was thrown out a window of this building, right? And she was an escort or a what would you say? Yeah.
Lady of the night, I guess is what they would.
Perfect.
I thought she wasn't actually a prostitute. I thought she just moved here and then got like kind of taken advantage of or something.
Okay, this is debatable. I don't know.
I honestly don't remember the story.
Do you know?
No, that's like a little past.
Well, okay.
It's hard to confirm. Like,
do you know anything about this story?
I do.
Okay,
yeah.
So you tell us how you know the story.
So the main version of what where the rumor kind of comes from is that one of the founding members of the space was with a woman on the 3rd floor, and the 3rd floor is where their like bedrooms kind of resided. And we don't use that space now for anything, but it's actually still very intact from when it was open back in the day, and they used it as their bedrooms. I mean, there's bathrooms and such up there. But one of the founding members was with a female, and actually I think he had heart issues, and he passed away during being with this woman. And
while copulating.
The other...
Should we put sound effects in this? Oh, sorry. I'll take that part out. The mic. Yeah.
Other gentlemen that were around this evening didn't want anyone to find out that that's how he passed away. So they apparently had pushed her out the window on the third floor.
God.
Yeah.
So there was 2 murders in one, or 2 killings, 2 deaths in one evening.
Wow.
That's what the rumor is. Yes.
Cool.
So you say you don't use the third floor?
We do not use the third floor. It's pretty much for storage. We don't use it at all. Yeah. And I think that's also mainly because when you go up there, you do get like kind of the creepy,
the superstitious,
goosebumpy vibes. We did have a medium that was here. There was actually a television show on this back in the day, like a few years ago. We had a medium here.
Was her name Laura Warren?
No, it was a man.
Okay.
And he was here and did like a segment on the Halifax Club.
I think I remember that.
But they went up to the third floor, and he said there was definitely like ghost activity.
Ooh.
You know what we should do is spend actually. Yes.
Laura Warren here.
So Laura Warren was on our show. She's a medium. She's awesome.
Yeah,
it was a great
fun.
episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, she would be awesome to do that there. But I think actually you and I should just spend the night up there.
A little sleepover?
Yeah. Sleepover. And it could be like the podcast, but then it could be like also Blair Witch, where it's like, there's something here.
I'll say this, I mean, point blank, I don't believe in ghosts or spirits or
I didn't either.
So have you been converted?
I didn't either.
Oh, really? So you didn't, and now you do.
I don't know if it's like the type of person I am that like I don't, I can't say what I believe or not.
Right.
I don't know what happens after.
Okay, yeah. Sure.
That.
That's fair.
I don't think anybody knows.
When
like
things
ghosts.
happen and you can't explain it, that's when it's like very past me. So I've had things happen at other locations of Halifax before. Obviously, there's a lot of history here. And, when the Halifax explosion happened, there was obviously so many people that passed away. And a lot of those bodies were stored at like the Five Fishermen and the Lord Nelson. And those places are, they have the reputation of being like very haunted. But here, since there is the history there, and like it's a little known that obviously some things have happened here back in the day. Yeah. Some things have certainly happened with me and other staff that we cannot explain. It doesn't happen on a daily basis, but when it does, we just kind of say, okay, that's the ghosts. They are doing their thing, or they don't like the song that's playing right now from our phones and they change it on their own, whatever. There's definitely a few things.
I hope they like the show.
Right in my element. Oh, well, it does me have these here. Like, when you're editing, you might hear like that.
This is purely turning into like a ghost podcast, story podcast.
I want to do that at some point where we just have someone tell us like crazy stories.
After hours segment, like ghost stories with,
Afternoon pint ghost stories edition or something, whatever.
I think it's pretty cool. It's pretty fascinating.
They do a few things. They, there was one time I was here by myself and, I was playing music right from my phone, and our sound system is wireless. Like you're connected to Wi-Fi, it just plays music. And I had my phone like on my desk. It was facing up and it was turned off, and it just like clicked on out of nowhere. And the sound bar came up from Spotify and just gradually turned the volume down, like as if a finger was doing it.
Was it Drake?
No, I was playing ABBA.
Okay.
They really didn't like ABBA, I guess.
So I relate.
I turned the volume back up.
I turned that down.
Turned my phone off, and it did it again on its own. So it, they'll like really kind of screw around with their phones sometimes. They'll change the songs, but they'll also move things as well. We'll come into the club, morning of, and we'll see that like chairs have moved around. A broom is like in the middle of the floor. Obviously we wouldn't do that.
You have me looking around this room right now, just getting a little.
Yeah, you get used to it. I think if you play friendly, they'll play friendly back. But you don't sense like anything mean or purposely, trying to tell you to get out. I think they've come to terms, I think, with the space being open and being used.
You definitely sound like a person that's sold on ghosts now. You sound invested.
Yeah, like I can't explain it, but I must say, I feel like I just have to acknowledge them.
There's a lot of them talk about the ghosts.
They're here, 100%. Yeah.
Okay, listen, cool. I'll take whatever listeners we can get.
Yes, please like and subscribe if you're from another realm. We'd love for you to listen to the show. Thank you.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay, so you rent the space out. I've been following a little bit on Instagram. You guys are really kind of ramping up up. Obviously, weddings seem to be a really big thing here.
Incredibly.
But, we were here for a book signing or a book release or whatever. So
right.
Seems like just
last year. And that was great.
Yeah.
You guys are really just like marketing yourself as a venue spot now.
Yeah.
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 Less of a club.
It's really incredible. What's so amazing about it is that the Halifax Club has never functioned in a way in its history that it does now, which I think is really mind-blowing.
Yeah.
It's truly never like been open to the way that it is now, like throughout its whole history. I think that's really like just fantastic.
Yeah.
But it's never received the kind of interest either that it does now.
So if you were just walking down the street, could you walk in here on a Saturday afternoon now?
So we do
there?
still have members to the space. That's really like Monday to Friday. They'll kind of work, bring in their clients. They can also host events here. So a lot of members that sign up are like maybe bigger real estate companies, individual like professionals. So they'll kind of use the space Monday to Friday as their own kind of office, which is really comfortable for them. Especially since COVID, like people, either worked from home or didn't really have an office anymore.
Right.
So it kind of doubled already as that space, and people definitely took advantage of that, which was really great. But they'll book a lot of their own, rooms individually or spaces for their own functions, events, conferences, meetings, like cocktail parties. But weddings is definitely like a number one thing that we do here.
So so when did you come on board?
So I've been here since August 2021.
Okay.
And even then, it was really like still a 180 from how it's functioning now. Like very member focused. A lot of people really didn't know the club was here, and it almost felt like such a waste of space that, there's so much like the architecture, like there's so much original character to the space in here that wasn't renovated, that, should be really, that's kind of what gravitates so many people in here. It's so captivating, but it really just wasn't getting its full use even like 2.5 years ago. And it, I kind of took advantage of marketing the space like I did and opening it up, putting on our own events, opening it to weddings, and it really just kind of boomed.
So when you came on, did you come here to be general manager, or you started working here and you worked your way up?
I was the event manager, and I was the wedding coordinator for the space. So I've been general manager since September 2022.
Okay.
And I still do all the weddings as well. So I do a little bit of it all.
They should pay you twice. But yeah, so it's I know what you mean when you say that people didn't know that it was here or whatever. And I think it's because we have a lot of people moving to Halifax, and so they don't know about the space. And it's not like you guys necessarily do advertising like other venues would necessarily do, although you're starting to kind of get the word out. So it makes sense that it's almost like this forgotten elite venue in a way that's starting to kind of come around again, which is kind of cool. Because I know the very first time I came here was probably 2007-ish, something like that. And it was because, speaking of weddings, this place hosted a wedding show. So a place you can come to not only just check out the venue to see maybe you want to host a wedding here or something like that, but it actually hosted where you could vendors came and talked to people and tried. And so it was I think I only came that one time. I was doing wedding shows a lot back then, so I think they only did it the one time. But I remember coming in and thinking oh, this is a really cool spot and everything. And then I read about the history and everything. I was young at that time, early 20s. But I remember thinking it was a pretty cool space, and the history behind it was pretty cool. So I think that, it's a space that needs to be used. It's obviously cool that, it's not just for guys anymore.
And you have good local beer on tap now.
And you have good local beer. Yeah, actually, we probably talked about
Enjoying the Propeller. I'm having the English Porter.
Yeah,
nope.
I'm having the porter.
Flat white.
That's not the flat white porter.
Yeah, that's a porter.
Is it a flat?
It's like a stout. Yeah.
Yeah, you have a porter.
Oh no, I got a porter, but it's the English Porter. Isn't that what it's called?
No.
I don't know what one it was.
You have to cut that. That's just...
God, man, I'm messing it up, this show real
I don't know what porter, but
it's good, though.
They have a couple different porters, so I don't know. Honestly, didn't look what ones, but I'm drinking the Galaxy as
That's a staple.
Galaxy is like, our kind of go-to.
It's our go-to. It's a go-to here, but it's also a go-to for me. Every single time we record at another venue, I'm like,
so Galaxy is like their most popular. Like they did something cool. Propeller. Did you see that like infograph that they did this year? So Propeller Brewing, they did like an infograph of what their most popular beer was, kind of like a Spotify wrap-up list. You know, if you've seen the Spotify list, they did one, and I think the Galaxy is like their biggest selling beer by far. And you said it was really popular here.
Oh my! We can't keep it. Like we can't even keep it in. We sell out every single time.
Crazy.
It's the most ordered thing here by far.
So the cool thing about I guess another big reason why I wanted to record here is shout out to Halifax Club for actually securing us a couple of our guests. The reason we had Nancy Regan on, and Dave Carroll, was because we were here at an event here.
Yeah, so the networking here really helped get our podcast kind of off the ground and help talking.
You're welcome.
To a few so thank you.
You're so welcome.
We were just about to say thank you.
Yeah,
Just another thing that we're here for.
Exactly. The networking thing's a big thing, and we were invited. There's another event coming up from a company that is having an event here. I don't remember the date offhand, but it's coming up, and we were invited to attend. And I was offered also by something that interests me is because you have
throw a lady out the window.
No,
sorry,
no. You guys have a cigar member, like
sure do.
Oh yeah, that's a cool room.
Yeah.
So I got to go there for the wedding and sit around. What an amazing space! And,
I haven't been there yet.
And actually, we talked about Drake earlier. I heard he has a locker up there, like a little foot locker.
I don't know.
I'm a little obsessed with Drake, but it's true, right? Drake, the rapper,
like Degrassi.
Yeah, Degrassi Drake has a little locker up there.
I love how she went to Degrassi, not
Degrassi
international
Drake. You just,
rapper.
Forgot about the last 20 years of the man's career and just took him right back to when he was in
a wheelchair.
In that show in the wheelchair, yeah. But that Drake also
that showed my age.
Like a best-selling pop artist like ever. When he sold more records than the Beatles, man. It's crazy.
Everyone sells more records than the Beatles now, though.
Yeah,
because there's more people. So
I never thought of that until now.
Yeah,
everything.
Literally, when the Beatles were popular, there was I don't know, 10 million people. Yeah. Now there's billions. I'm obviously exaggerating, but obviously that is a thing. Sorry to take your the wind out of Taylor Swift's wings, but the fact is that
always
there's more
going
people
back to
because of that.
He always goes back to how much he doesn't like Taylor Swift. Do you like Taylor Swift?
Honestly, I only feel like I became a Swiftie once I hit my 30s.
Oh no!
Now I appreciate.
I'm in a Swiftie
Taylor
household.
Swift.
It's all Taylor Swift in my house.
I believe it is my opinion that Taylor Swift is the most overrated musician of all time.
We just did this, I think, in the episode.
Yeah,
of
we should
Campbell
not talk
Johnson.
about it.
Hopefully, she doesn't listen to this pod. Could you imagine?
I know.
I hope
she does.
What did I do to those guys?
I want her to know she's awesome, and I think she kicks butt, and she does.
I didn't
great.
say she's a bad person.
No,
she seems actually like a nice person.
And her music is great too, and I know a lot of lyrics, a lot of songs, thanks to Gracie.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, let's go back to the Halifax Club. Stop talking about T Swift. But yeah, so the cigar, how does that work? The whole cigar thing.
I think another thing that's really cool about this space is that there is so many sectors to it. So we do have a cigar shop and a cigar lounge.
Right.
I don't know how many other places in the city actually sell cigars. Right. But the inventory that you need to keep on hand at all times is outrageous. You have to ship in cigars, and the amount it takes to ship everything in, the Cubans, it's kind of unbelievable. We do directly get Cubans. We have a lot of suppliers. It's fantastic.
Okay.
So in the summertime when the cruise ships are coming in, we can't keep anything on the shelves. Everyone from
Americans
the States
are going nuts.
They go crazy. They go crazy. They buy everything. They go crazy for it. So the inventory in there at all times is, massive.
Awesome. So you oversee that part as well?
Yeah. So that is connected to us. That's located on Granville.
I knew that. I knew it was in a little separate
And then
location.
the cigar lounge is kind of right above it. And we do have members to that space that are separated from the Halifax Club. So there's kind of two different memberships you can get there.
So you get a membership here and a membership there.
Yeah. Gotcha. But we're like fully, booked for members for the lounge. Like it's a staple to the space.
Wow. That's great though.
Yeah. And to Halifax, like we're the only cigar lounge east of Montreal. There's nothing closer than our lounge.
Because you're not allowed to smoke indoors. That's the thing.
No.
So we were kind of grandfathered in with that.
So you couldn't, if you wanted to open a cigar lounge, like you couldn't do that now, right?
The licensing, I'm sure, would be just ridiculous.
Yeah,
there's a bunch of regulations to it.
There's so many.
There's like their ventilation issues.
Yeah.
And all
like
stuff,
I do feel like people have a right. Like I don't understand why if you didn't own, like, okay, I understand if you're leasing a building, like releasing a part of a building, why you shouldn't or why you couldn't. But if you own the building, why couldn't you just?
I think that's some of the things you need to do. Like it can happen. It's extremely hard.
Yeah, you should be able to let people go in and do their thing.
Yeah,
I don't even like cigars. I'm just kind of.
I do. I do like cigars, and I'm not a smoker. I've never smoked a cigarette in my life. Never taken a puff off a cigarette, but I do like cigars, and maybe that's just because of my I like whiskey, like that Scotch kind of thing.
There's a whole vibe to it. People really enjoy it.
Yeah, I probably would. I mean, I've done it before. I mean, it's okay.
Oh yeah.
Especially when you get all your boys like up there.
Yeah.
Like that lounge, it's definitely like a bit more of a guy's lounge still for sure. There's a lot of female members though to that space. Like everyone can enjoy it.
I firmly believe that both male and females can smoke equally the same.
They can all die of lung cancer together.
You don't inhale cigars.
I know.
No. I think it's really just stepping away from the idea that this was like men only. And I think because we've done so well opening it up, it's actually introduced a lot of people that wouldn't have normally come to this space before. Like we, weirdly enough to say, we did our first like same-sex wedding only a few years ago. And I'm sure that would have never happened like
previously,
keeping it as still that kind of prestigious gentleman space. Like that really would have never happened.
That's awesome. That's really cool.
Yeah. And, but that's also just like how it should be. Like that's, without saying it should be like that. Yeah. But definitely the cigar lounge is a bit... like it looks how it sounds. It's a cigar
I'm picturing
lounge.
it in my head. I'm picturing just lots of wood and lots of leather.
Lots of leather chairs.
They do have leather chairs. They got a painting of Fidel Castro on the wall.
We do.
It's amazing.
That was like the first thing I noticed,
I was offered to be taken there by one of the members who on this event.
No paintings of Scarface in the hot tub. I wish I was disappointed for that. I was hoping for that.
Fair enough.
No.
So can you tell us like what's it cost to be a member?
Oh, it ranges.
Okay.
But just because we wanted to be a lot more open to people that, you don't have to be making a certain amount of money a year. Like we wanted things to be very attainable and, reachable for other people. So definitely ranges, but guests or members in there have their own like lockers that are all set with a humidor so they can store their cigars in there.
So you basically have packages that you can sell essentially for
this. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. That's good. So that's for there, like here, is there like the same kind of thing? Like is there base packages or?
There are, yeah. So there's like different tiers for people that would maybe want to sign on and strictly use it Monday to Friday, maybe more like office, bring your clients work. There's more like event-focused memberships. There's young professional memberships that people can sign up for. There's out-of-town memberships, maybe if you don't live here.
Drake.
Yeah, exact. Taylor Swift.
There you go.
Shout out Taylor Swift if you want to come. Club's always open.
For free.
Yeah, for free.
Yeah. Taylor Swift's definitely gets it for free. She's
maybe just do karaoke with me or something. I would love that.
She's the best.
I'd do karaoke with Taylor Swift.
Not now.
Yeah, she won't do it with you. Yeah, it won't do it with you.
So I guess the other thing too is like, so you have like obviously wedding season and stuff like that, but what is it? What's kind of like, what do you see the vision for the future for like that you have planned for here in terms of like that marketing, and how do you feel that you're going to reach people that may not know it?
I think what's kind of interesting with that is that even two years ago, I wouldn't have pictured the space being like how it is now. It seemed very set in its ways. But I think that was also like maybe people didn't really know what to do with the space anymore. So kind of some history with that is that the club was run and organized by its members up until it was privately bought and sold.
When was that?
6 or 7 years ago.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So it was run by like an organization of members that it seemed like they didn't know what to do with the space anymore. It really wasn't generating money. I think it was, the upkeep of a heritage property isn't easy either. But it seemed like they really couldn't use the space anymore, at least for how it was functioning kind of that whole time. And obviously you kind of have to keep up with the city as well. Like there's constant change going on in Halifax in the city that I feel like they couldn't really keep up with that maybe. Then it was privately sold, renovated inside while still kind of maintaining that original kind of character. So I feel like when I kind of jumped in on the team, it really wasn't being used to its full purpose, to its full extent. And I feel like it kind of needed a new transition. Like that was a really good time to do that. COVID also really pushed, us kind of transitioning and me taking a step back and being like, I think we need to kind of repurpose
evolve
the space.
And survive.
100%. We really, and we did, like we really did evolve into something else. Like I said earlier, if you've been listening this whole time, we have really not functioned in the way that we do now. It's almost like just a really mind-blowing fact on its own.
Cool.
Like late last year, so I can say, 2 months ago, I guess.
Yeah.
We actually won 2 awards to the space that I don't, I think it's never gotten the kind of recognition it has either. So
what were the awards?
Yeah. We won Best Wedding Venue in Halifax, which was run by like a local voting group or company. So that was all local votes that kind of came in.
It is a fantastic place to put a wedding. It just works. I don't know. The dance room, the reception, the food, snacks down at the bar. It was a really warm, comfortable feeling here, right? Really cool.
And we actually just won a Canadian Choice Award, which was also really incredible. So that was for wedding venues in Halifax. And these places, they don't even really tell you that you're nominated. You just kind of find out because people are like, I voted for you. And I was like, what? for what?
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. But saying that, like, the club's really never been recognized like that before, which I think is super interesting. So if people want to
rent the club, I guess, how do they contact you guys? What's the easiest way?
Oh, people email me. They call all the time. People slide into my DMs on Instagram all the time.
that was me. I was like, hey,
Matt did that.
Can we come here and record?
Come here and do something? Talk over beers?
I was like, sure.
Yeah.
Fine.
No, that's awesome.
I've known Meaghan since she was a teenager.
Crazy.
I know.
How's that feel for you to know me since I was so young and now see how successful
this bigwig.
Yeah,
I know. That's pretty cool. It's pretty interesting.
Awesome.
I mean, she still is who she is, but it's but I remember when she was a
tot
full of attitude, like because between with Brendan and I think we lived at each other's homes. There was 2 weeks in one summer that I think I didn't go home. I think I just lived at your house.
Yep.
So
that's awesome.
Yeah. So obviously their whole family, I grew up pretty close with. So
that's really cool.
So yeah. But so it's kind of cool to see you all grown up.
Yeah. I kind of never really pictured myself doing this, but
you were in hospitality for a long time.
I was. So I worked in food and beverage for around 13 years, 12, 13 years. Then I worked in hotel management for 2, and I absolutely despised that. It just was not for me. And I decided to go back to school, and I went back for events and really liked the wedding side of it. I feel like I finally kind of really went into exactly what I was supposed to be doing. I was very passionate about it. And now I've been doing events and weddings here. And then I kind of just took over as general manager because it was like...
I guess I just kind of did. It was one of those things like, hey, by the way, I'm in charge now.
I'm just going to make that call.
yeah, exactly. So who owns it now? Can you say who owns the club now?
So Steve Carey, he bought the space and they did a private, kind of sellout for it. I don't think it was open for sale. Like I think it was a private, kind of sale. So Steve Carey, he owns like a lot of other spaces, other like rentals in the city, very like businessman forward, but he just was really interested in the club. Like he just loved it. He thought the whole concept of it was really incredible. Yeah. He really knew it could use a facelift in here. So he bought the space, and really like he was very incredible with me too. He saw like how much I kind of wanted to do here, how much purpose like it could have. So when an opportunity came up for me to be general manager, he was like, there's nobody else but you that could really.
That's awesome.
Now Steve Carey.
Good on Steve for keeping the integrity of the club and recognizing you wanting to kind of expand and do different things with it and seeing its potential.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Steve unfortunately passed away over the holidays. So his family's kind of running the space and managing it now. But I couldn't say better things about Steve. Like he really kind of gave the club and me an opportunity and gave me a lot of freedom to run the space for how I kind of saw what would work well and what would fit. So he was just an incredible person. But yeah, it's not changing, it's not going anywhere, but his family's just kind of taking over, and they really love the space as well.
That's good to hear. Yeah. Anytime you see like, if someone's doing something right, and obviously for whatever reason, whether it be them passing on or whatever, or if they sell the place or things like that, you want to make sure it maintains the good things that it's doing. And it seems like a lot of things are doing quite pretty efficient.
Well, congratulations to you. Sounds like you've really turned this place around. It's doing great.
It kind of blows my mind all the time.
Yeah. So
it's doing really well.
We must give you a final cheers to that. Thank you so much for inviting us up, and we really
Thanks
appreciate
for having
it.
me.
Yeah,
and
awesome.
we'll hit you up for a couple other.
I'll see you on the Ghost tour podcast. That'll be the next episode.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll have some other.
See if you survive overnight.
Yeah, we could do that. Yeah, that'd be fun. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much. This is really nice to meet you.
Yeah. Thank you. Loved it.
Very best. Cheers.